Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, what is going on? My name's Boit, and it's time for your regularly scheduled Age of Mythology retold action. In the right-hand corner of the map, playing as Zeus. This is quickly becoming one of my favorite Zeus players to watch. His name is Tunison. And part of the reason he's so fun to watch is just he's actually being creative with this god. There are some very, very clear power plays with Zeus. Very, very clear. But if you only play for them, then all of a sudden you're missing opportunities. And oftentimes your power play is going to get thwarted. For example, Underworld. If I know that my opponent's got Underworld, if I know that they're going to be attempting to stop, or if I know they're going to be attempting to kill me with that Underworld somewhere, well, I can play around it. For example, I actually played a game versus Tunison where I had Vanish for my villagers when the Underworld came, and I had my army on my on my town center going to the Mythic Age, and all of a sudden, we're completely safe. What does that unlock? Well, it unlocks a completely different god path. Tunison's opponent for today is Norse Specialist, high-level player, 2k plus for the majority of his games. His name is Devil. He's going to be playing Thor for us on this one. One of the most aggressive players on the ladder, I would say. He's a lot of fun to play against, infuriating some of the times because he'll get some cheese wins. I played a game against him not too long ago and he beat me in under 4 minutes. I resigned because I didn't want to play the game anymore, but he undermined my time shifting temple. I time shifted it to get it to safety. It takes so long to time shift that, well, he hit the classical age and clicked undermine and killed it. So that's my story. Thanks for listening. It's not about me, though. It's not about me at all. It's about these two players. So let's give it a watch. Relics on the map. With the fast temple here from Devil, you do actually get yourself out some very, very early Herser if you want. But you can actually see that he has one Herser out. And he's going to be able to pick up the Jade Hair. Oh, this is one of those. Did he see it? Of course he saw it. He's just not paying attention. Jade Hair is one of my favorite relics in this game because it means that we get to it means that you get to play for speedy myth units. It's so much fun. Like I've already brought this up and I'm still yet to see a Norse player try it. I got to be the change that I want to see in the world. Valkyrie Thundering Hooves, Thurizaz Rune is 7.2 speed Valkyrie. If you guys thought that the Raiju was oppressive, you thought the Raiju raids were annoying, just wait until there's 5, 6, 7 Valkyrie running around the map at 7.2 speed or 7.5 speed with this relic. Just wait. I'll wait. I'll see it at some point. Little Crow Circle over on the other side is another amazing relic there for Thor, making your armory upgrades or your weapon upgrades cheaper. Cathar of Apollo on the left side there as well for villagers moving faster is nice. And we do see a little cheeky house down from Devil just to make sure that no town center shenanigans are happening. And we see we see Tunison going through Athena, and he's dropping a military cannon, and he's dropping a stable. So, it's Athena gameplay. Really, really strong, always been strong, has fallen off a little bit in popularity for things like Hermes play a little bit recently. I have myself been having some, I would say I've been having success, but I'm still learning all of the very, very important things about playing a game of Greek with Ares. I'm getting really good positions. I'm not going to lie. They're really, really good. And I'm throwing them. But I do think that Athena might still be the most popular classical age minor god amongst top players. But I think that the more, actually probably Hermes is because of Poseidon. But I think the more that we see Greek players playing and experimenting, the more they're going to start going, oh, actually, you know what? There's a lot of power. There is a lot of power inside of nice little wall block there as Tunison is going to take the long way around and take a couple of smacks. He might even get walled off again up onto this side. Anyways, Yeah, but it's Athena, so makes some sense. We do see a little cheeky Great Hall getting getting popped up over here, and the Jason is gonna have to continue its way back up. Oh, it's having some issues. You see the units coming out, looking for a little bit of a fight. There is that HP regen on the Jason, so all of this HP lost isn't the end of the world as long as he gets back home at, what is it, 0.1 or 0.5? I can't remember. Yeah, it's 1. Oh, relic goes down. Jason does end up getting killed, so Devil gets some nice favor and the kill. So, well played there. And, of course, the Jason is going to be back out here, and Wall's going to come up as the Rhinoceros coming through. It's a little bit of action for our early game here, but Tunison's vibe here in going Athena, it's not the Athena of old. Like, I don't think that I genuinely, like, I've said this a million times, but if you're gonna go for a restoration, a second restoration, the first restoration, whatever, it's free. You get it for free. You can use it straight away. If you have an early game fight, it's fine. You're looking to get a better position in the map. You didn't pay for it. Well, you paid for it in going to the classical age, and your opponent also has a god power, mind you, so you want to get at least equal value to their classical age god power. But that 125 costage on the second restoration, you don't want to use that unless you're at full population. If you're at full population, you go for it, which then begs the question as the villagers make their way over onto this side, and Devil does manage to get himself a little cheeky raid in, and the units are over here to defend. And this is a very, very risky raid from Devil, but he does get in. He gets one pick. The walls aren't finished up over here just yet. Any attempt at actually sending some villagers over here would have been really nice from Tunison, but unfortunately for Tunison, he drops a villager. Anyways, yeah, my point with the second restoration charge, whether or not that happens in this game, I don't know. As another raid coming in, really, really, really active for the moment here. This Devil Hersa shenanigans, 5.3 speed with Hall of Thanes. This is Thor, not Loki. This is 4 steady Hall of Thanes Hersa raids coming in and getting some real big value early on. Nice play from Devil. He's showing that, you know what, even playing against the top level players, they're still going to be dropping villagers. It's not the end of the world to drop villagers, but some of this is coming down to some poor building placement. For example, here, this probably shouldn't have been houses. It probably should have just been a wall coming up onto this spot. Over onto this side, probably should have been some houses going out over here, and then a wall coming over, and then a wall coming over. Would have been a little bit better. These houses over here protect a tower that nobody cares about. Maybe you could have used those. These houses over here don't really protect anything. You're walling off. These sort of things, like protecting your base versus the Norse players. These are the sort of things that if you learn, all of a sudden, Norse is not an issue to play against. At least not in the early game with Hersa raids or raiding cavalry raids. Or the speed of the Norse player, it stops being an issue because they have to actually bash through something in order to get onto your villages. And then you're able to react and you're able to defend with your units and things like that. But nonetheless, little bits of damage done. The Thor player also can drop his Dwarven Armory, which he has already dropped, and he's starting to get those relics. Not the relics, armory upgrades. The relics are still on the map, aren't they? Very important ones. Little Crow Circle, half price. Half price. Weapon upgrades. Jade Hair. Speedy Battle War, for example, could be fun. Anyways, we are actually going to be seeing a couple of Minotaur coming through, which is interesting considering the amount of Hersa out. So as much as I like to say myth units build... Oh, there's an opening in the wall. Unlucky there for Tunison. I'd say, actually, you know what? I take it back. Not unlucky. If you build a wall like this to a forest, don't build the gates right away. After the wall finishes, click with your villager over the wall, and the villager will find any openings. The villager will find any openings. And this is such a big raid. My God. Devil is getting so much value with these Hersa. Now, it's not game over or anything here by any stretch of the imagination, but this is where you start to go, oh crap, I'm probably going to lose this game unless I make something happen. I got to get something in this game, and Devil is already heroic age. So not only is the military differential equal, not only does Devil have an armory advantage here, like by an entire line of upgrades, but also Devil is in the mythic age. Now this is good right here from This is really, really good here from Tunison, but the wall segment goes up onto this side, does blow up, and that's going to do half damage over onto the other side there. But finally, Tunison gets what he's been looking for, which is some nice... Never mind. No, he doesn't. I don't know what that was. I thought that was going to be the revenge damage that he actually needed. If he picks off those 4 Hearser, then all of a sudden he's actually in front on military, and he can look to put some pressure on for a second gold mine, or he can look to convert that into his own heroic age, things like that. But yeah, that's not happening, and the Labyrinth of Minos is going to be coming through. So his Minotaur are going to be speedy, and I think from memory they go up to 5.3 speed. Is that correct? Or are they? 5.2 speed. Ooh. Yeah. I don't think... as much as I love myth units, I don't think that Minotaur are the answer against Force City. They're just not fast enough. And they are a bruiser, so they can get into the fight, and they can use their speed to get into the right position, and they can tank in the right position. But unfortunately, against Thor, there is no right position for them because of those 430 Hearser. So yeah, they're not a unit to build here, and that's fine. This is fine. It's like one of those things where you go, okay, there's a unit in my unit roster which unfortunately is not super useful. He's gonna come in here and try and get some villager kills, and he will run back, and he has to run to his army here. I guess you can go for some raids with the Minotaur so long as you have your hoplites close enough so the Hearser can't chase them down. And there is only 0.1 speed difference, or actually it's 0.05 speed difference. But anyways, hoplites coming in to attempt to take down the town centers. The Hippias can pull off and actually maybe kill this town center off. This is a nice play from Tunison. Very, very aggressive. Very, very risky. There is a healing spring over here as well. As the bolt comes down, Minotaur going to come in onto the backside. There goes the flaming weapons. Restoration to come down. I almost think that a retreat here would be... wouldn't go astray from Tunison, but he is feeling like he needs to get some good damage done as the Hearser come out. There goes one Minotaur. Town center still under attack over here as Tunison continuing his aggressive ways, but now he says, all right, that did not work. Let me get out of there. 100 favor in the bank for Devil, and well, Tunison, that was reckless. Let's just say that much. That was very, very, very reckless. And he will get out of here. He will have to spare more units. He can turn and take the fight afterwards, but this Flaming Weapons is still going as the Hippias attempt to get onto that backline. Of course, they are very, very good versus the Throw and Axemen. But the Throw and Axemen are also very, very good versus the Hoplites. But for some reason here, Devil just doesn't have the reinforcements in his army. And oh, there's a couple of Berserks over here. And Tunison... somehow, at the end of that fight, actually gets a nice trade-off. So, while I wouldn't have said that was a success for Tunison, he keeps it competitive. He keeps it competitive with a nice trade at the end. Militarily speaking, it's still equal. There's actually a villager lead at the moment for Tunison, to which you guys will say, wait, how can there be a villager lead when Devil has got that many villager kills? Well, it's because Devil went to the heroic age. So your town center gets preoccupied for, 75 seconds? So you have to kill off something like 4 villagers to get equality and go to the next age. And I think he killed off 2, maybe 3. And actually, you know what? With the armory, I'm a little bit confused as to how the villager differential is this big. Maybe that's just been idle time in the town center for Devil. So I don't think he got a huge amount of villager kills. But now we do see the raid. This is the raid that Tunison's been waiting for. This will bring him back into the game nicely. And... there is one Hearser coming. Oh my golly gosh, that there is a villager conversion. That is an overreaction and a half from Devil. Now he does have access to the upgrade for his Berserks here, and he's got the Berserk upgrade for Forcetti. So these Berserks are not useless. I say not useless as if Berserks are useless, but Berserks generally find their value when you go Forcetti, when you go Ulla, when you go Bragi, when you go Tyr. If you have one of those, when you go Vidar. If you have one of those minor gods, then the Berserks they become useful. They become like a premium unit you want to build. You don't have one of those upgrades, then you kind of want to stay away from them. So, yeah, Devil's got 2 of those upgrades. 2 of those god paths. So they're very, very premium units here for him. Anyways, neither here nor there. He has to actually research that upgrade, which isn't coming through. It's pretty cheap from memory. What's it cost? Does it cost gold? Food. 150 food. It's pretty cheap. But nice villager kills on the way back here. As it's a bit of a power spike for Devil at the moment because of the Berserk conversion. So it's cheap to do so. You can get a big military advantage with the Berserk conversion, and he killed off units on the defense as well. As Tunison will come back into his main base. He's going heroic age. He's got a lot of villagers on favor. Looks like he is looking for another restoration, to which I say you should not be going for this restoration. But he doesn't really, well, he actually does have, well, doesn't really have the food situation. There's berries over here. There's farms going up into the main base. It's not really the food situation. So restoration might actually be the best call. He could go for more Minotaur here as well, which is probably, considering the amount of Hersa. If you take a quick look at the hero numbers, there's 9 Hersa, I guess. As the villagers will pull up onto this side, try and get to safety as these Hersa. Will they spot the villagers? Will they spot them? Whoop. They had a glimpse. They had a glimpse of villagers. Blink and you miss it. And the villagers are now back onto the gold. That's wild. Ankle's broken. Okay, so I actually would have liked, what I would have liked here from Tunison would be to take all those villagers off of gold onto this elephant and convert that elephant into Thonic Rites and a whole bunch of Hydra here. Why? He's already got enough gold to get himself a bunch of Aspis. Doesn't really need to gather gold for the moment. He really needs food for that, for those Hydra. And a couple of Hydra and Paspists, all of a sudden those Berserks are looking incredibly juicy here. But nonetheless, the Hersa are back. Oh, I love that. Oh, man. But look at the difference in villager count. Devil, he doesn't care about villagers. Devil is just like, yeah, nah, villagers, who cares? Who cares? This Hydra is going to go so hard on this fight, though. He clicked bronze here? I don't know about that one. But anyways, if anything, you want your opponent to stay there so the Hydra can actually get that damage off. And then maybe click... Now, you don't want to click Restoration. You just want to get Chthonic Rites and then run away the Hydra when it's got a bunch of damage. The villagers over here do shank through the wall. They get back to safety. Berserk's coming back onto this position for some more raids over there as the army continues to push through here. And these Berserks are just trying to get damage done. There goes the Restoration. There's still 77 favor in the bank, but this is one of those restorations that just isn't value. Like, it would have just been better to have those villagers not on favor. Unfortunately. For as much as you guys want to see God Power recast, right? Yeah, it would have been better to not have those villagers on favor. But you kind of don't know where the game state is going, so you don't know what you're planning for. I have to imagine that Tunison wasn't planning for that, but maybe he was. If he is planning for it, I'm going to say stop planning for it. Put villagers off of favor and get yourself the resources and make more units. Make myth unit. Anyways, and you can say to me, well, that's a lot of heroes in this army. Why would I make myth unit? If that's the case and he's building that many heroes, just take the villagers off of favor. If you scout that and you see all those Hersa and all those heroes, take the villagers off of favor, make human unit. Human unit counters hero, and then after you've dealt with it, then throw 10 villagers onto favor and start making your myth unit. Or when you get to full population, throw 10 villagers on favor, 15 villagers on favor, and start working towards your restoration. You can actually see with 8 villagers on favor, you're already getting 38 favor per minute. So that's 4 minutes-ish, a little bit over 4 minutes. Let's call it 5 minutes to get to 125 favor. But even if you just had 1 villager on favor for the entirety of the game, you'd be up to that favor. Anyways, we see battle balls coming through. We've got the units up to the back here. Tunison in front on villager count, equal on the tech, but behind on military, as Devil is just looking to try and trim villager lead here and trying to make this game competitive. The fact of the matter is he does have a massive lead in military. He could convert this military lead into 2 town centers here by stopping production for a little bit and just building those town centers. It would be a very, very nice way to get to quality here after all the damage is done. He's got so much favor in the bank as well. The other option could be to take all of his dwarves. See these dwarves? Just put them onto gold. Maybe chuck a second temple down and make a bunch of battle ball, which would also be very, very difficult for a myth unit adverse Zeus player to struggle. If you build the myth units, then of course the situation isn't too difficult. So these Hippias are going to meet their maker, as you can't really raid with Hippias as much as people like to say horse OP. Hippias without spirited charge are not horse. They are slow. They are sad, slow boys. Like the Herso is almost as fast. Go Hercules. All right, we got some upgrades coming through. Ballistics, medium range soldiers, etc. Battle balls into the main base here as the Odysseus is going to come through. And these villagers into the main base. He's in under a lot of pressure here, as he's going to have to get over here and actually take a fight. The Jason, Heracles have to be very careful here. You need to make sure that you're actually on the battle ball. The other thing in this fight that's going to be very difficult is the fact that these Godia are in, and there's not a single Peltast in just yet, as there goes the second restoration, and a little part of me dies in seeing that. And the town center as well is going to go down. So not only did the restoration not help out there, but also my poor Hydra ended up dying. Of course, Hippias aren't a terrible idea against the Goaty either. And in fact, the town center was picked off, but all of a sudden now, militarily speaking, it's back to Tunison advantage. So Tunison can very quickly get himself his town center back up, and he's probably back into equality here. So not the best decision from Devil. Tunison, nice play. He is back in the game. His town center is coming back up. He's getting this gold mine. He's still probably, he still needs to get these walls properly sorted out, because these speedy Norse units are just going to continue to run in and hit the gold mine here, whether they run in through this way or run in and through this way. Maybe a dock and a transport ship, probably not even, a dock and a transport ship, or a dock and a longboat to get some units in, chucking a longhouse or two on the back here. Those sort of things are always going to be an option. You got to be so careful when playing against Norse infantry, 4 SETI especially, Ulla to some degree, but 4 SETI especially. You got to be so careful, because those side builds can completely ruin you in a game. But maybe at some point we're going to start seeing some now that the restoration is out of reach. Surely 175 favor. We don't see it again, though. He might go for the bronze next, but you might start seeing some things coming through soon. I mean, this is the thing though. These Godia are out. They're still out, and they make you not want to. I'll say it again. If your opponent is going this heavy onto heroes, just take the villages off of favor. This is the one advantage of playing Greek over playing every other civ in the game. If you play Egyptian and you go favor strats, you can't stop going favor strats. You already invested into it. If you play Norse and you go favor strats, you can't stop going favor strats. You just get it automatically, right? By fighting. If you play Atlanteans, you go favor strats. Well, you can't get the resources back from the oracles. They're just going to be there. You already invested. It's the same as Egyptians. You go China, favor strats. Well, you screwed up. Probably should have gone economy with those Guafu because your opponent went mass heroes. You can't ungo mass myth units, right? You play Japan, favor strat. Well, you can't stop that. You already invested in the Miko, right? It goes on. Aztecs, you sack the villagers for the favor. You can't stop sacking villagers for their villagers dead. Greeks, you can just take the villagers off of favor. They don't sit there for the entirety of the game. It's the one advantage of Zeus and of Greek in general. Anyways, my rant is over, as the Great Halls are going to get smacked down. Longhouse is going to get smacked down. Villagers here reacting to the wall going down, retreating, and you can see that's the beauty of walling, is you can keep your villagers alive. There is still this one villager chilling over on this gold mine, as Devil is going to just check everything and make sure that nothing is out of the ordinary. And now all the battle boar are out, and you stare at this going, oh wow, how do I, as the Greek player, deal with this amount of battle boar? And you've got your 3 Greek heroes, to which top players go, oh, Greek sucked, you can't deal with mass myth unit because you only got 3 heroes. To which I say, this guy here is really, really good. You should build this guy. All right. As the Peltas can come through, they can snipe those thrown axemen really, really well. They can snipe the Goaty really, really well. It is a little bit of a tough micro fest here for both players as the Battle Ball come in, stop the Hoplites from doing a whole lot of stuff here. The Peltas onto the back line, trying to take out the thrown axemen for the time being. Battle Balls are slowly going down here to all those heroes and the Hoplites as well. The one beautiful thing here for the Hoplites is because they've got such high armor, the Battle Balls aren't super effective versus them. In fact, the Battle Ball should have swung around and hit the Peltas, which is another thing. It's like, yes, Smith units are good versus human unit. They just are, right? Like you look at the hack armor, 1800. They are tanks. 1800 effective hack HP. But myth units still have got soft counters, or units that they are soft good against. In this case, a hack damage dealing myth unit is good against low hack armor archers. A pierce armor dealing myth unit, or a pierce damage dealing myth unit, is good against low pierce armor infantry, etc. Anyways, so that fight actually went well for Tunison, and we are somewhat, and we're not in equality here, 48 villages to 57, but there's still a military advantage. Oh, bit of a high five. Always love to see players getting along, as the Hoplites will walk back to their death. They need to be careful. Luckily, Zeus Hoplites are very, very quick, but with the Battle Balls, if you can get in front of those Zeus Hoplites, unfortunately no micro from Devil there, you get in front of those retreating Hoplites, you use that special to keep those Hoplites locked. It's a lot of fun, but not attempted by Devil there, unfortunately. As I'm still sitting here waiting for my favor to get spent. He's back up to Restoration. Would this be Restoration cast number 4? I think this is the whole reason why Tunison is losing, by the way. He's not losing, but this is the whole reason he's not winning in this game by a large margin. All about this Restoration usage. I'm gonna keep on my campaign. My campaign is gonna continue. But Devil here, nice movement here. He's got some sort of awareness that that these red units are up onto this side. You can kind of see the units to some degree as well. So he moves those dwarves. You can come all the way onto the bottom side of the map. Talent Center now up for Devil. Will be able to give him some quality in villager differential. He's still got some armory upgrades to come through as well. In terms, he's probably got about 6 more dwarves you can get from armory upgrades, but they are expensive at iron, so it's not simple to just grab them. As we'll see the Battle Balls going, you're out of position. It's time to go for your main base. Whether he goes for infrastructure or he goes for the town center, it doesn't really matter. He's going to get a bunch of value here, just so long as he's ready to defend. He should be okay. And we see a interesting upgrade here. Aegis Shield, not the most useful against Norse, especially not a Norse player who isn't building, especially a Norse player who's not building any real pierce damage dealing units apart from the Goaty, so not really dealing any damage. And there goes the bronze for the second time, as a little part of me dies, as Devil just needs to run. Well, Devil does not run, and I think this fight here, even with the bronze, this fight here is going relatively decently for Devil, as he now does have the Battle Ball on that backline. That's what I'm talking about. That's the damage you want from those battles. Even with bronze, those Peltas are going to melt because they don't have much HP. Anyways, I thought that fight was going to go a little bit better for Tunison. Of course, you can see that the God Power recast should have been Hydra. To which you go, Boit, how does he build Hydra? There's no food left on the map. Just take the villages off of wood, put farms down. Farms get food pretty quickly. 0.84 food per second. And he does have himself irrigation as well, so... Anyways, maybe we'll see them later. Fortress coming up here for Tunison as he's still dropping villages, but he is still in front by a little bit. And he's going to have to come up here and deal with this. Those Jarls are going to be a little bit of an issue to deal with. Longhouse up over here for the Devil as the Jarls pull up to the top side. Military Academies up for Tunison as well onto this side. one other idea here that I don't see enough from other players is, okay, you go, well, okay, I've got the 125 favor for the restoration. My opponent isn't, and it's an opportunity to get the myth units out, right? But it's just easier to click restoration because it's like 0 seconds to spend those resources. Whereas a Hydra, for example, is how long? Is it going to tell me? Well, when it pops out, it'll tell me. Yeah, seeing a Hydra. Yay. A Hydra is 20 seconds. So it takes a little bit longer. And you have to get through 120. So you have to, it's like a minute. It's 2 minutes to get the Hydra out. Well, if you drop a second temple, now it's only a minute to get all those Hydra out. See? It might cost a little bit more, but you get them out much quicker and you're able to catch your opponent off guard. But we are seeing the Hydra finally. We are going to be seeing Chthonic. We were going to see Chthonic Rites, but he chooses to not get that for some reason. An extra Hydra first. I mean, the rush for Chthonic Rites doesn't really matter because the Hydra are at 840 HP. Can't get any healing, so what's the point? After you get those Hydra out, then it's time to get that thing in, as now we see a town center coming up for Devil. And at this point, this is actually a smart move because Devil's at full population. So an interesting idea is, well, if your opponents at full population don't have heroes, have 2 temples, and then get your myth units out, is a angle to always look for. And I guess it also makes sense because now the God Power recasts are definitely out of reach. Not that they've really been helping Tunison, they've been keeping him alive due to his very bad play. But anyways, in onto the fight is now as the Chthonic Rites are going to come through, and these Hydra are going to become a very big nuisance for Devil, as he's only got 2 Ghoti. If I see this fight, he does have 1 Ursa over here. If I see these Hydra here, I almost think to just run, but a little bit of lackluster micro from Tunison. He's not actually taking out these heroes, and 1 Hydra does end up dropping. You can always run the Hydra, right? If it gets to half HP or something, just pull it back. It's got enough weight class, so in Age of Mythology, every unit's got a weight class. Its weight class is big enough that it can push through your own units. It was very, very easy to run away. Of course, only 4 speed, but at half HP, if you run it away, your opponent is not going to be able to kill it. And then if you get that 4 regeneration, 4 HP regenerate second back. It's a crazy amount of HP regen. So it's really worth it. If you see your opponent focusing down, just run. He'll have to refocus, put it back into the fight. It's already back up to 3/4 HP, and he's good to go as Tunison charging forward. And to be honest, if he's got the pacifist and he's got the peltast, then all of a sudden, how do you deal with these? What do you build? Ursa? Well, I got a pacifist for Ursa. Ghoti? Well, I got peltast for Ghoti. Well, the only other answer is myth units. Probably the best idea here, considering they've only got, I say only, they've got 50% pierce armor. Probably the best idea here is to actually make trolls. But don't tell any Norse player that. Because that would mean they'd have to build more myth units. We don't want any of that. The option could actually be to drop a flaming weapons. But there's not enough favor, and it's not the best idea. Now, here's the ultimate power play. Had Tunison done this before, it wouldn't have costed as much. But you can now take, say you built that second temple and you have yourself that 190 population, you can now take all your villages, not all of them, but like 20, 30 villages, and put them onto favor and work for that next restoration at full population with all these Hydra, and it's a completely different story. As the Tunisian army completely dominates here after all that time. Completely dominates the fights. And Devil here is, without question, lost in this game. And Tunisian is going to be walking away with it. So, an interesting game here, guys. I don't know what else Devil can do. The other power play here is once you get to the Mythic Age, these guys are like, where's my 3-headed Hydra? DPS 60 hack damage per second, and then you can take this down by it's a 25% reduction or minus 75. I can't remember. Anyways, you get that monstrous rage Mythic Age technology from Hera. There's some real big power in this. Now, there are ways to defeat this. For example, if you've got a whole bunch of Hydra, your opponent can click Ragnarok and kill them off. Things like that are available for the Norse as well, as the Hydra can charge forward, take out the town center. Devil's attempting to get all of his heroes out, but he does also have to manage the Paspist and the Peltast as well. And that's what myth units do. Look at these bad boys go! He did lose one, unfortunately. Still, there's just like no micro here. This is the other thing with myth units is they are a unit that, especially the Hydra, they're a unit that microing away the unit that, or running away the unit that's getting targeted down is really, really strong. So Tunison gets the dub here versus Devil. A very, very wild back and forth game. It kind of looked like Tunison was lost for a little bit of this, but very smart plays to keep his villages alive, and does end up becoming a win for Tunison. Funnily enough, he won the game. He found the big advantage when he actually made myth units. Need I say any more? Anyways, if you guys enjoyed the game, please leave a comment, hit the follow button, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.